What's up, people? It's Christy here, and today we're gonna go over and I'm going to kind of tell you about what I did with Squat University. Gary and I got to go see Dr. Aaron Horschig, which is awesome. I was fangirling. Yes, I was starstruck. We saw him when we went and visited St. Louis for my sister's wedding, and that's where I'm actually from. And so Dr. Aaron and I share the same hometown. So yeah, I'm just trying to name drop as much as I can. Anyway, Gary and I have some nagging problems that, you know, that are normal to strong men and strong women, or people who've done strength sport for many years. And we've gone to physical therapists, like other physical therapists, massage people, chiropractors, like you name it. Like we currently do that, and we've gone to many. So it was really cool to go with someone that we know have worked with other people we know, and obviously is well respected in the sports world. So I'm gonna kind of go through the footage of my session with him. Gary had a session with him as well. But just to kind of explain what we did and what my problems have been, especially since the Arnold. I have 2 herniated discs. I don't know when I did it. I don't know if I did it like 4 years ago or when, but I think it was caused by like extreme back flexion, you know, over time. You know, with my background in my deadlift. Oops. For those like beginning newbie years, when I was really pushing myself and still had poor bracing technique. So the first thing that we did was we went over my deadlift to see exactly what was going on there. And Dr. Horschig wanted to work a little bit on my bracing. So you'll see we went through the big 3, which I do with my clients, but he taught me them properly. It's the McGill sit-up, the side plank, and the bird dog. So you'll see me do that and do them properly. And afterwards, like my abs were on fire. And I've been doing them ever since for my warm-ups, and I feel like way more solid. So they seem really simple and boring, but if you do them correctly, they will help you. So don't just jump to the squat bar. Go do these first.
Anything at all?
No.
We're gonna throw bent, the other one straight. Now, if you were to do a sit-up, what would actually happen to your spine?
Curve.
It would curve.
Flex.
And do I want flexion of your spine?
No.
Exactly, because
I need to save it.
it's a trigger for your
trigger.
exactly, and we want to save it for times where you actually have to have a lot of load.
Okay.
So we want to be able to maintain
Uh-huh.
as much of a neutral spine when we're doing our core stability work, right? So hands underneath your low back. That's just going to make sure that you're in sort of that neutral range. Okay. From here, you're going to start off by bracing your core. So tighten through this part right there. So tight, tight, tight. Good. Now don't draw in, but almost like you have a belt around. I want to feel this tighten up right there. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So you never want to draw in, because then you're only focusing on certain muscles here and not creating that full 360 degrees of stability. Okay. So tighten. Now lift your head just slightly. That's it. Okay. Now your hands are there as pressure sensors, because if you round your back at all, any flexion, you will feel your back push into your hands. Okay. 10-second hold and then back down. Okay. That's the key. Because you could just come up and down all day long and do like a sit-up, and it's not necessarily going to emphasize the stability emphasis that we're looking for. Okay, so 10-second hold. Very good. Now breathe like you have a straw in your mouth. Small sips of air in and out. Okay, does that feel okay? Any pain at all?
No.
Do you feel your back pushing your hands?
Mm-hmm.
Ability. Strength is that ability just to produce that quick force, but stability is that emphasis and that ability to limit excessive or unwanted motion and maintain tension, maintain that position at the joint. And that's what we're trying to do. We're teaching your body basically, how do I maintain that neutral spine? Okay, on your side. We are going to do a side plank. Now, oftentimes I will have someone go for the knees if they're very painful. For you, we can go the full side plank. So I have your feet one in front of the other, okay? And what you're gonna do is come up and you're gonna hold for 10 seconds, and we're gonna roll to the other side like that, and go for 10 seconds, and you're gonna do 6 on each side. Okay. Yeah? This feels okay in your back? Okay. Very good. Okay, down on the ground. So what we're gonna do last is a bird dog. Now, many people have done bird dogs, but they often do them incorrectly. So I want you on all fours, and let's go long ways this way. Okay, now first thing first is we want to find that neutral spine. So you're going to come up a little bit, you're going to come down a little bit, you're going to find that position where you have that slight arch in the back. So push down just a little bit, so that's going to be closer to that neutral spine. And in this position, if you were to brace, you would feel completely fine. You would not feel that left lower back at all. Does that feel okay?
Right.
Okay, now just like the curl up, we need to brace first, so tighten up into my fingers. Good. Now you will move this hand and this leg. Okay, but it's brace first and then go slowly. Very good. You will kick this heel back. Very good. Only that foot about an inch or two off the ground. Okay. This hand, you're going to squeeze really hard. Okay, so squeeze and make a fist. Now in doing so, you're going to light up and create tension from that fist all the way down, straight line all the way down here. Does that feel kind of back? Okay, 10-second hold, again breathing through the straw, and then you're maintaining this tension as you come back under. You're going to tap your fist to your knee, underneath. So come back, nice and slow, keep this from moving, tap under, so you're sweeping, don't let this flex. Good, tap this right there, and then back out again. So you'll see a lot of people that as they come under, they lose their back.
Yeah.
Especially for you, if we go into that flexed posture, that's moving into our trigger.
I really see extension on a lot of people when they do this too. They're just,
A lot of
just
people,
reaching.
their foot is way in the air. What's that doing to the spine?
No, yeah.
It's extending the
Yeah.
spine. So our goal with this is to teach that neutral spinal posture with movement of the arms and legs, which is every single strongman event.
That's awesome,
right?
man.
And the great thing about this is it's instilling that core stability emphasis, but at very, very low loads on the spine. So again, this is something that often even the most painful backs can perform and not have an issue with. Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, so jump on up. How do you feel after all that?
Great.
Great.
Solid.
So something like that will give you a firm foundation for stability for literally the next hour or so of training. So this is going to be something you're going to be doing every single day. Okay? And this is going to be a warm-up for every single training session. It just instills that core stability. You've got the hip mobility okay?
Now that you know how to do the McGill Big 3 properly, I'm going to show you a drill that I post on Instagram and he posted on his page. Is offset loaded like squat walk, where we have the bamboo bar and we have a 10-pound weight on one side. Now the type of weight you use will vary. Now let's say I can squat 350 pounds. 10 pounds is really not a weight, and that's a lot of weight, and that's good. You shouldn't be using heavy loads with this. It is a bracing drill. So he showed me it. It's about staying tight under the bar, your core super tight so we're not here. So we just kind of tested my hip position, if I was good wide, medium, or narrow, and I've always played around with it. I've never really felt confident of like where I squatted because they all kind of felt good. And that's kind of what Aaron said was like, you can squat really wide and that is gonna, you know, that would benefit you a little bit more for powerlifting. So.
What you're doing, and this is another test that you can do, and I don't do this one often, but from basically right here is you're going to rock forward, okay? We have that neutral spine. Now you're going to go as deep as possible going back. So have that neutral posture, and then slowly sit your butt back. And what we're looking for is at what point does the pelvis break. She's good, she's good, she's good. Right there, you can start to see, right? A little bit of flexion. But you can tell how narrow that is. Okay, so come all the way back up. Okay, widen your feet out, your knees out a little bit. Okay, and again, slowly come back down. Maintain, maintain. Good. Right there, at the very bottom. Okay, and let's do one more. Widen your feet out even more.
Just the feet or knees?
Yeah, the knees. Widen the knees out even more. Okay. And then slowly drop back down. Very good. I mean, so you can tell right there, see how wide her knees are.
Yeah.
And she's able to still maintain a neutral position at the back. So what that's showing is that you have hips that were meant to squat deep. Your hips were meant to be in this sport.
Oh my God.
You'll get some people that literally they go wide and their hips just tuck under after 90 degrees. Unfortunately, they don't have a body that was built to squat deep, to deadlift deep. So what that means is that our issues are more or less a neuromuscular control issue, not a mobility issue. Now, yes, we had that restriction on the left hip versus the right, but your ability to get down and then maintain that flexed posture or a neutral posture and not go into deep flexion, that's more so just technique. So that's a good thing, because we can train out of it. Okay, so I'll come back over.
The next thing we did, last but not least, we went over my deadlift, which I've had trouble with forever. I was deadlifting like a lot, you know, at Strongman Nationals, we did 375 on an axle bar for reps off of 4-inch deficit. And then for the Arnold, we did 350 axle bars or something like that for 3, and then jumped to 375 for reps on a straight bar. So I was repping that out a lot, you know. And then I was just kind of broken. My back was just hurting me so bad. And so I knew I had to kind of pull myself back and pull myself together a little bit for a few months. That's why I haven't been posting many heavy lifts, because I really haven't been doing any heavy loading on the spine. And now I'm feeling really good and I'm slowly building back up, but I want to build up properly. So learning how to brace again, and having someone that's not my boyfriend or my friend or, you know, one of my coaches, like someone that like squat, you know, Dr. Aaron Horschig was like, all right, I can do this. What he says, I'm gonna do. Like, the end, no ifs, ands, or buts. So I'm gonna do it. So he teaches me that. So just enjoy and kind of listen. He has a lot of great how to deadlift or deadlift tips on his YouTube page. And yeah.
Just almost, Ed Cohen calls it like sort of like a wiggle. So basically you're just going to get down into it, find that crazy amount of posture, lock everything down. You should feel like grabbing the bar, like that bar is almost going to leave the ground before you have even attempted to pull, because there's so much stiffness. One thing I really want you to focus on is driving with your hips and creating that tension with your glutes. You should feel like the glutes are almost trembling in that bottom position, showing that we're loading up the hips. Your back's gonna be nice and braced because we're gonna lock everything down and then go through with the pull. Cool? So let's see what that looks like. So basically I want you to sit up nice and tall, okay? You're braced. I want you to slowly pull yourself down to the bar. Good, grab, okay? Big breath, embrace. I want you to pause for a second. Create as much tension as you feel like the bar's almost gonna leave the ground, then pull. Now obviously, this is gonna go quicker than that. So for right now, we're just sort of slowly overemphasizing that isometric, I guess you'd call it, at the very bottom, and then pull. And you should feel like you have a lot of tension in the glutes and in the hips, okay? So start nice and tall, okay? Big brace, okay? Slowly lower yourself down, pull yourself down. You should feel that tension in your hips. Rise.
Should we brace?
Yep. Big breath, brace, go. Okay, control down. Does that feel different?
Yeah, I feel like a lot more pressure
You feel a lot
here.
more pressure there.
Yeah.
Do you feel your hips sort
Yeah, I
of
feel
trembling a little bit before you get going?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So is that something that's a little bit different than your setup and sequence before?
Yes.
Okay. How so? Like, what were you thinking about before?
Before, I feel like I create tension when I'm down there already.
So you'd get down there relaxed and then try to create your tension?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Into your position. Now, what we're looking for in this position, so this is basically going to be your set, okay?
Right.
So from right here, we have a flat back. You are going to then pull yourself down into your starting position by breathing, bracing, getting super, super tight and feeling like that bar is going to slowly lift off the ground, then go.
That was so good.
Okay, slow back down. Okay, so try it again. So it's just instead of starting at the top, we're starting from this position, okay? Flat back, okay? You're lowering yourself down, pulling yourself down with your hips, Control, control. Squeeze, go. Good. Control down. Good. Okay, one more. I want you to build as much tension as possible in your body and then explode like you're coming out of the cannon. Okay, you're gonna feel that bar barely leave the ground. Feel it click. Go. Good. Nice. Control back down. Very good. Okay, relax.
Yeah.
Feel different?
Yeah, very different.
Okay. Feel strong.
Yeah, it feels very strong.
Good.
So yeah, I feel like, especially with the pain, I feel like I wasn't able to explode much. So I feel like I'm rebuilding that back too. Like,
Pain completely takes
or that-
away your ability to use your muscles in your body as you need to.
It's gonna mentally
although
cause
I
the
feel like
hesitation
that's
too.
too,
You know it's gonna hurt a little bit, so you.
That's too. If I ever done, I felt really tight and pain free and also just like strong. And it's like a really stiff bar. So it's like, so it felt like really good for that.
That's good.
I just need someone to tell me how to patient be like, pull myself down to the bar.
That's the biggest thing is we don't want to think, that this is just a lift that we do from pulling. It's a push and a pull together.
Right.
So understanding that connection between the two and creating that super stiffness. And that's the thing most people don't realize is that I think sometimes because you don't have that bar loaded on your back, that you don't have to be as stiff.
Well, when I started to do where I tried to focus more on pushing, I wasn't very stiff at the bottom, so my butt would rise. And I pull, get in a flex position. So I think this is making me create like a better starting position.
Yes. And the better you start, the better you finish.
Right. Wow.
Okay. So this, from there, it's just we're not going to push any more heavy weight today, but that starts the building block.
Right.
So go over everything today, right? Flexion, posture, intolerance. Knowing that sitting around all day in bad posture bleeds your capacity to then train, right? It's not that you're in a ton of pain right now. You're at that end of it, of the injury, but we need to understand how sitting around can take away from your capacity to train and lead to some more pain. So when you are sitting, if you have to, lumbar roll. Stay into that neutral position, okay? When you are training, we have a warm-up of fixing that left hip internal rotation. That was side to side different, okay? We also had core stability emphasis, and then also the movement control and the movement connection. So if we did the core stability, if we did the hip mobility, but then we never even talked about how to deadlift and move, correct that, so pain could come back. So you have to have that complete circle to really make sure that not only do you get out of pain, but you get back to a high level of performance.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It's application of those things, right?
I'm so happy. Thank you for watching. Make sure you check out Gary's session with Dr. Aaron too, because he has a whole number of different problems than I have, and I'm sure you'll learn something. So stay tuned or tune back in.